What's up, guys? I'm here with, and I'm kind of late to the game. I'm here with episode 2 of the wrong show. I'm here with episode 2 of The Last of Us. Kill me. I just got done watching it. I really am intrigued with where they're going with the show. To kind of preface this, I wasn't a massive fan of The Last of Us Part 1. I was a big fan with Part 2. I know, shoot me. But I think that, Part 1 was kind of the side of the story that I didn't latch on to the story and to the characters like everyone else did. So I was kind of like, how is this going to be for me? And I was rather surprised with episode 1 how much they nailed the first part of the Last of Us, and I was really excited with where they're going to take it. And so far, it's hooked me a lot more than the game. However, I do think there is some issues that we will talk about later on in the show. Yes, I don't think it's a perfect show like everyone online is saying it is, and you know how I am. I'm very critical. Some would say it's very hard to please me, but I'm telling you, this show is way overhyped. Okay. The show is way overhyped, and don't let others overhype this show for you, thinking it's the coming of Christ. It is not. It is a good show. It is a well-made show. It is adapted from the game damn near perfectly, with some slight deviations from the game. However, I do think that people need to kind of temper their expectations. People need to kind of quieten down a little bit. This is not your typical show. This show is really good. It has some of the best cinematography of the year so far. We're only like a month in. So, there's opportunity for other shows or movies to outdo this one. The acting, I think some parts are really good. Some parts are a little iffy. The characterization, the characters, it's ripped from the game, and, we should applaud it. We should be happy that they adapted the game, but at the same time, when you adapt something from a show, or not a show, a game, and you try to take it to live action, there's some things that you got to consider. And I think that, I was talking to my mom, and, it's kind of weird because, my mom, she's not played the games. She's not a fan of the game. She doesn't even like video games. The only reason that she's even watching the show is because I've played it. And I told her, I think you're going to like this. I think you might actually latch on to it more than I did playing it. And she was like, I don't see it. I don't see why everyone's like so overhyped on this. And I think this is what it is. All right. The game, for 20 years, 30 years, we've been begging for video game adaptations to fucking take after the game, help us out a little bit. But I think the problem is that the show, like the source material for me, wasn't intriguing enough in those first few chapters where I latched onto the characters. You know what I mean? Like, I think the characters are good. You know what I mean? And this before I say all about my review of this second episode, I just wanted to say, like, I do like the game, Part 1. But I'm not, like, head over heels. It's not my best of all time, you know what I mean? So I'm seeing this from what they can do better. You know what I mean? I'm trying to see what they do better with the show. And I think they're nailing it, but I think that, the characterization of Joel and Ellie, and I do like Tess, and I do like, Tommy. The people that play, the actors and actresses that play those characters, these are all great cast. This is Oscar, Emmy nominated people. It's just that I think that the characterization is a little weak. And, people are kind of jumping the gun a little bit with how alike it is to the game, that I don't think they have an opinion of their own about these characters. But at the same time, I'm going to get fans that say, I'm full of shit, and like, I don't see what you're saying, and that's completely fine. That's whatever. But at the same time, I don't think there's enough to chew on yet. And that's kind of where I'm leading to this review. There isn't enough to chew on yet, guys. You guys are overhyping the fuck out of this show. You guys got to calm down. Like, the show is very good, but it ain't what you guys are saying it is. You know, we have seen this concept done better, I think, in The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? Early Walking Dead was prime time television, just like The Last of Us is now. And people are like fucking overhyped. It's like we've never seen a zombie show before. Like, simmer down, guys. We've seen this concept. It's just The Last of Us does it really good. You know what I mean? It's more of the same of what we've seen, and especially in show form. In show form, like, I think the game version separates itself very, very much, you know, in a different way that it makes it unique. The show, however, is coming off like just like a generic zombie show. You know what I mean? And I know you guys are going to hate me saying that. You know what I mean? I know you guys are going to hate it, but that's just how it is. The Last of Us is very good, but it's a very good average zombie show so far. You know what I mean? It's not done anything groundbreaking. You know what I mean? Like, it's not anything that we've not seen before. So I don't know why everyone's going fucking apeshit. You know what I mean? Like, from a filmmaker's standpoint, this show is doing nothing revolutionary. You know what I mean? It's not, you know, reinventing the wheel. And so I think that everyone is just tired of the mediocrity that we get in media now. That when something really good comes along with people that are passionate about it, they're like, holy fuck, you know what I mean? This is great. You know, this is awesome, you know. And don't let me, rain on your parade. Don't let me rain on your parade. This is a great show. You guys need to calm the fuck down. You know what I mean? Like, this is not, you know, Day of the Dead, 1968. You know what I mean? This is not, 28 weeks later or whatever? Or 28 days later? Whatever it is. Whatever that, the Fast Zombie movie. This ain't reinventing the wheel. Alright, you guys need to calm down. So anyways, I had to kind of preface this, and I know I'm probably already getting a lot of fucking hate comments, and you guys probably disagree, but that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, that's completely okay. You guys should be excited. You know what I mean? You guys should be happy. But I think that, you know, people need to readjust their view of this show. It's quite good. I agree. I think it's better than the game. And I know that's something to say. That's a hot take if I've heard one. But at the same time, I think the show it's making good strides. I think there are some things that they do, like the openings of this show, especially in episode 2 and episode 1. Like, these 2 episodes open up with some of the most dread-filled, you know, lines, like dialogue delivery and just oh fuck moments. It's unparalleled. You know what I mean? It's some of the best writing I've seen in a show about an apocalypse, about a pandemic. And I really do think that they're utilizing that very well, considering that we just came out of a pandemic. And I think that that's rare. Like, I think that's really where the show is kind of finding its footing, and it's kind of making it scarier. Like, this concept with the cordyceps and the fungal infections, if I'm not mistaken, where it's kind of making it scarier for us, because we kind of just came out of something bacteria, you know, pandemic wise. So, I mean, it's coming at a good time. It's just that I think that the way they kind of start these episodes, they introduce this feeling of dread that I don't feel throughout the episodes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get the horror. I don't get the tension that The Last of Us kind of brings in the gameplay and the cream of the crop cinematics. You know, there's moments in game that are like movies, you know what I mean, that are fucking insane. And I just don't feel, but besides one sequence that we're going to talk about, besides the clicker sequence in this episode, I just don't get why it's so terrifying to some of these people. Because, like, to me, it's not carrying that feeling of dread throughout the episode. Anyways, I'm kind of starting off with negatives. I don't want to start like that, but it's kind of, I'm getting kind of impatient because I felt like episode 2, while I did like it better than the first episode, I do like that episode better. Infected, this second episode, this review, what we're reviewing this episode, I do think that it is indeed better than the first episode. My mom's on the opposite. She likes the first part because of Sarah. She likes that first episode because of Sarah. Me, I like it because of this clicker sequence, a deviation that we're going to talk about later on. But I do think that this episode, in terms of translating the game and the story of the game, I think it does it better than episode 1. And I didn't expect that because I thought episode 1 did it fucking awesome. Like, I was surprised of how damn good episode 1 was. And then all of a sudden episode 2, to me, it got better. It's like, holy shit. How the fuck did they pull that off? You know, these are very talented people behind this project. And I'm very proud to say, as a gamer and as a filmmaker, that they are respecting, you know, Suits over here at these studios, they're respecting, you know, us gamers. You know what I mean? They're respecting that, you know, we need and want, you know, an adaptation that goes for broke. You know what I mean? And we want it adapted faithfully. You know what I mean? We don't want something that is just the concept or is just like 1 or 2 story beats and then just make a whole different plot. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the problem that we've had, is that these damn adaptations, they just take the name and then they make a whole new damn story out of it and then give us a little bit of that concept from the game, but they just fucking destroy it. So I think, I think people are overhyping it a little bit, but at the same time, thank God The Last of Us is probably the only show where if they didn't do it right, motherfucker, was people going to get pissed. Because, dude, The Last of Us is literally just a movie or a show, literally pre-packaged into a money-making success. You know what I mean? To me, that's an easy job, you know, adapting that. You know what I mean? It's an easy job adapting The Last of Us. More than, I would probably say, like Red Dead Redemption. You know what I mean? Because The Last of Us, it's kind of straightforward narratively. I don't think you can necessarily fuck it up. It's just, we've had this track record with adaptations where it's like, God damn, you know, they can probably fuck this up. You know what I mean? And thank God they didn't. So anyways, with all that being said, I'm kind of, tangent. I apologize. You guys know me. You guys know I'm like this. You guys kind of get, a lot of thoughts thrown at you. I'm sorry. Episode 2. We pick it back up with Joel and Ellie and Tess on the road. And Joel and Tess, they don't trust Ellie because of the information revealed at the end of last episode that she is potentially immune. And people were kind of complaining that it was a little bit too quick, or it wasn't, it didn't have the same effect as it did in the game. And, my mom kind of had the same complaint. And thankfully, they kind of addressed that in this episode where, they don't trust her because of the information that they kind of found out about her not being, about her being immune. And so there's kind of that, through line from episode 1 ending into this episode where they're kind of like, can we trust you? Like, what's the end game here? What's the goal? And, Ellie doesn't have much answers because she's, 14 years old. She don't know what the fuck's going on. And she didn't know what the grand plan was for her and the Fireflies. So she doesn't know. And Joel and Tess are like, the fuck, we've heard these stories before. And I love that part of the episode where like Joel is like, he's, skeptical as fuck. Like he is like, nah, bruh, I've heard this song before. You know what I mean? I've heard this tune. I've heard this song. I've read this book before. I ain't falling for this shit no more. You guys are gonna have to come up with something else. And so I think that kind of, and by the way, this is gonna be kind of spoilery, but kind of not. Might as well go into spoilers while I'm here. because I'm not going to make a spoiler review. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it. So if you haven't seen the episode, come back. Go ahead and click off now. But, I thought that was a really good way to show how Tess and Joel, how long they've been doing this. You know what I mean? Like, you can't trick them. You know what I mean? They have been there, done that. And so I like that as characters, is that they are aged. You know what I mean? Like, they are not gullible people. They have, and I like how this episode kind of starts with me and Joel, with Tess saying it. Me and Joel are not good people. We're in this for us. Like, we are not good people. And I love how they kind of set that tone, because that is exactly why the game is so damn good. It's because we know that Joel, through kind of like, in passing, Joel will kind of admit that he's not a good person, that he's done shit that he's not proud of. And especially with Tommy later on, which I don't have a screener for the show, so I have no clue if it's even in the show, but in the game, Tommy goes off on Joel because he regrets the shit that they've done together. And it's kind of implied, but there's a reason why Joel and Tommy kind of split up. And it's kind of implied that it's because of the shit that Joel did, with Tommy. Killing people, tricking them and killing them. So I really like how it's kind of being slowly introduced in the show. I don't know if they're going to go that far, like in the game, but I like how they introduce that Joel is not a good person. And he's just a survivor, just like everybody else. He just so happens to be our protagonist. You know what I mean? So we're watching the show. I'm watching it, and I am just like so proud of like the visuals, the cinematography, how faithful it is. But I can't help but feel that it's a little pretentious at points. It's a little bit, it kind of lulls in this episode a little bit, so watch out. This one might be a little bit of a harder repeat viewing, because with the tendrils being introduced, which I think is an interesting deviation from the game, because the showrunners did say, like, we didn't want to do spores because then we'd have to put gas mask over our talent, which is understandable. You pay them a lot of money, you want them to be seen. But I'm gonna miss that aspect of the spores. But I will say, the tension with those tendrils was still pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they still hit the right beat of having that tension of them walking in this, hotel or museum or something. I really did like that aspect of them having to kind of, tap it a little bit, tap the tendrils, see if it's still alive, and I like that concept of how, like, the tendrils, like, it's like a hive mind, where if you step on this tendril, fucking clickers and zombies infected from 2 miles away can come over here. They know exactly where you stepped, and they'll come fuck you up. They're coming. You know what I mean? I like that aspect a lot. I really do. So, like, it's a good deviation, is what I'm saying. Like, it's a good deviation. I wish we could have got those spores, because they would have. I'm waiting for that part in part 2, where, Ellie's gas mask breaks. I want to see that, but it's going to be interesting. We got to wait years for that scene, to see how they do it. But I'm interested in seeing how they do that particular scene with part 2. Because now it's just tendrils and the infected and clickers so far. And we know that a damn bloater's coming. It's coming, but we don't know yet. But the tendrils, I see a lot of sequences where that's going to be really cool. You know what I mean? It's going to be really fucking cool. Anyways, I think the sequence, like, I like how they cut out some stuff from the game. Like how, like, since Ellie can't swim, you have to constantly find a fucking platform to put her on. In this episode, he just jumps into the water. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, saying right here to the game fans, like, in a funny way. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to see that in this show. I like that a lot. How they kind of made fun of the fans in a playful way. So, like, it's kind of like a little wink at us as gamers. I like that. The set design, when you actually see like the tendrils and stuff, like the veiny tendrils on the walls, and you see the city of Boston, you're like, holy shit, they really went all out. And you see the money, you see where that money went, and they've already said that they've spent so much damn money, it's like Game of Thrones level type budget. And you see it, you could see why, because it's fucking great. You know what I mean? Like the show's budget is on that damn screen, and I'm loving every second of it. Like, it's just so, it in a way, it is respectful, but at the same time, it is presented in such a different light from the game that it has a different edge to it. You know what I mean? It has a different flavor. You feel some type of way about it. You know what I mean? It feels special. And I can't imagine what it's like for, the non-gamers. Like, they're probably eating this shit up. But it gives a different flavor, you know what I mean? Like, just seeing it really there. You know what I mean? It's really cool. And I'm sure there's CGI. I'm sure. But, it's just really cool. You know what I mean? It's really cool to see that collapsed building, and it's there. I really like that. Damn, buddies hit me up. So, to go from there, I think episode 1 did it better, but I think episode 2, we get a little bit more story. And one surprise was that Tess dies in this episode. I was surprised that they did it that damn early. I was fucking like, holy shit, it's only episode 2. And Tess is already fucking dying. Like, damn. And I like the way they visually represented, the infection. I thought that was pretty good, pretty accurate, really good effects. But it kind of reinforces what everyone had a problem with episode 1, with the infection, like not making Ellie's immunity a big deal. In this episode, it is. Like, they kind of reinforce it with Tess's death. Which in the game, when I played the game, Tess's death is what made it real for me. So I imagine this is the moment where all the show fans, not the gamers, this is where all the show fans are kind of like, oh shit, so this is what we're in for. You know what I mean? And I love how Joel, his reaction, like Pedro Pascal, which I'm going to be completely honest, none of the casting so far has really impressed me besides Tess and Tommy. Gabriel Luna, and I can't remember who plays Tess. Somebody remind me in the comments. But I really dig their approach to these characters. Gabriel Luna and Tess's actress. Those two are knocking it out of the fucking park. Like, when Tommy walked in episode 1, I was like, that's fucking Tommy. Holy shit. And I feel like Joel and Ellie, those are kind of the two that I'm so mixed on. I don't know if I need to see more, or is this all I'm getting? But I feel like Joel, he's not likable enough yet. Like, I don't know, it's just, he's not likable as a character in the show. And I may be on an island with that, but I feel like in the show, Joel, like Pedro Pascal, and it's nothing on Pedro. He's doing a damn good job. Acting wise, he's doing a damn good job. It's just, as a filmmaker, as a film director, I see where the characterization of Joel is kind of missing. I feel like he's too one-dimensional. Like, he's too, oh, my daughter died, and I fucking hate life, this world sucks. Like, to me, there's not enough banter between him and Ellie to buy them liking each other at the end. And maybe that'll change, but so far, from the video game to a TV adaptation, I don't think Pedro Pascal's version of Joel is as captivating as Joel in the game. I may be on an island with that, but that's just me. In episode 2, I think I got a little hope that he's gonna knock it out, because when Tess says, "Save who you can save," and you see Joel's hatred of this world, you know, kind of fade, and he realizes, I gotta go get Ellie. The infected's coming. I'm getting Ellie. I'm getting her the fuck out of here. And you see, it's like mission updated, you know what I mean, in his eyes. And that was like kind of the little, holy fuck. That's something for me. That's kind of where you see a little bit more of a different shade of his character. Because so far in episode 1 and like half of episode 2, he's just one note. There's nothing to like about him. Like, you sympathize with him, but there's nothing to root for with him. You know what I mean? Like, we don't care about him. And I know how, like, people are going to be like, he's the main character. Of course we care. You got to have a captivating lead character. You got to have someone that grabs your attention every single time. And I don't think Joel in this adaptation has pulled me personally. More of the background characters have pulled me more than Joel and Ellie. And that's kind of strange. But I just feel like, you know, Joel in this show, he's just now getting to the point where I want to root for him. You know what I mean? He's kind of been too bitchy, too much of a pussy, you know, type shit. He's been too much of a downer note for me. Bella Ramsey as Ellie, I'm kind of torn on it. And I think it comes back down to Joel as well, like the direction and the characterization. Ellie is too one-dimensional right now for me, especially in that first episode at least. You don't get enough of like the quiet side and those little moments like where she can really live and breathe as Ellie. I feel like the lines, like, she's too snarky, too sarcastic, and it's like too quick. Like, it's the way they do it is like way too quick sometimes. Like where she looks at Joel and goes, asshole. Like, it was way too quick to really feel it. And I didn't buy it. And so for me, this episode, you kind of get a little bit more of that, where you get more of that kid in her, and you start seeing a little bit more of a different shade of her performance, which I really liked. It's just that in episode 1, you kind of need that. You need that foundation, or else people like me in the last half of this adaptation of season 1, it's not going to hit as hard, because it's like we didn't bond with her or Joel in that first few episodes. So it's like you slowly root for them when they're like halfway there. You know what I mean? You start to root for them halfway through the season or halfway through the objective. It's not as satisfying, is what I'm trying to say. Hopefully that comes across. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. It's not as satisfying as following someone from the start. Like Rick Grimes. You know what I mean? Like The Walking Dead. I think The Walking Dead actually has better characterization, like better characters and better writing for their characters in the early seasons, especially, than The Last of Us does right now. And I know people are going to be fucking pissed that I said that. They're going to be like, there's no way, you know. That's just what I believe, man. Like, Joel has nothing on Rick Grimes. Like, has nothing on fucking Rick Grimmedy. You know what I mean? When Rick comes into that fucking room, you know, when Andrew Lincoln walks on that fucking screen, everyone and their fucking mom's like, yeah! Like, it's because he commands that screen. You know what I mean? And it's no dig on Pedro. Like, he is fucking killing it, like, as an actor. Like, he is killing it. It's just that it's the direction. It's not him, is what I'm trying to say. It's not Pedro. It's the direction. And I don't think that they're doing it right. Like, I feel like Joel is too unlikable in these first 2 episodes. He's too bitchy. He's too complainy. He's too, you know, we're not doing this. We're not doing this, Tess. No. I've heard this song and dance before. You know what I mean? Like, he's too, you know, it's like, come on, dude. Like, and I get it. It's like the game. But I want to see him react differently. I want to see some new shit. I've played this game before. I've seen this story before. Take some risks. It's an adaptation. I don't need it to be 100%. but I'm glad it is. You know, some people are going to be very happy that it stayed, you know, like the game. I just feel like when you adapt, you got to change some things up because it doesn't work the same as it does on the small screen. You know what I mean? Like on the in the game, it doesn't work as like real people don't work like video game characters. So, and they don't talk like them. So you got to be kind of careful when you adapt, you know, video game adaptations, where when you do video game adaptations, you got to be careful with the characters because the characters, they're different. You know what I mean? Like they move, look different than in a game. So, and I think we're kind of, I mean, and I know I'm not on a big island, you know, I'm not on a very lonesome island here. There's some people that do have a kind of a problem with these characters. They're not buying it as much as, you know, everyone online seems to think. You know, like this show is not, you know, it's not reinventing the wheel or nothing. It's kind of more the same, you know, it's good. It's above average. I would say it's probably one of the best shows, you know, of all time already. But I think that people are kind of in that honeymoon phase where they don't see the flaws of the show and some of the direction choices and some of the writing. And I think that they're just over the fucking moon that it's like the game. You know what I mean? They don't see kind of some issues from the game. And it's because they love, and I get it, they love that game so much. You know what I mean? Like, if it was Resident Evil 4 and they adapted it into a movie, I would be the same fucking way if it was exactly like the game. You know what I mean? I'd be over the fucking moon. But I'm not that guy. I'm telling you, as a film fan and as a gamer myself, I think that they do some things that are really good. I just think that some things aren't as adaptable as the vocal, you know, minority or majority, I don't know, who love this game. They're very vocal that everything's perfect. I don't agree. I think that there are some characters like Joel and Ellie, and it's nothing to do with their performances. Like I said, it's not their performances. These are good actors and actresses. You know what I mean? Like these are very good actors. I just think that the direction and then some of the writing choices, I think that it's not as compelling for even myself and even for my mom, you know what I mean, who she loves The Walking Dead, but for her, she's a little bit fatigued. The show is not doing anything for her, you know what I mean? And for me, I like the show so far more than the game. Like, I'm not a massive fan of part 1, like I said. I think that the show is doing a better job at pulling me in. Like I said, with like how Pedro's face, you know, in his eyes with Tessa's death, like kind of that, like you could see that, you know, anger for the world leaving his face. It's those little moments that are pulling me in, but like overall, like just speaking, doing, you know, all this stuff, I'm not buying Joel and Ellie. I'm buying Tommy and Tess. And it should be backwards, if anything. You know, and maybe I'm just being too skeptical. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really liking this show. These are issues that I have, and hopefully, you know, people disagree or agree with me. I don't really care. But I'm hoping that I'm kind of being a voice for people who are not as happy with the show so far as much as everybody else. I hope I'm being a comfort reviewer for somebody. But just know you are not alone. You know what I mean? You're not on an island. Don't be pissed, you know, that everyone else is loving this and you're not, and you don't understand why. I've been there. You know what I mean? Like, I've been there with the game. And I'm just going to say this. You know what I mean? The show will get better. I promise you. I know from the quality of the game, and I have a pretty good, you know, kind of gut expectation. The show will get better, and you're going to love it. You know what I mean? I'm sorry that you're having the same issues as me and my mom does. And I've played the game. You know what I mean? I've played the game, and I had these issues. I didn't latch onto these characters as much as I did, you know, or as much as everyone else did. You know what I mean? I didn't latch onto them as much as everybody else did. So I didn't understand why everyone loved The Last of Us. It wasn't until halfway through the first game where I was like, holy fuck, I'm getting emotional about this, because I don't know, there's just a natural progression that you really start to fall for these characters, and I think you're gonna like it. You know what I mean? I just wish they would have taken a different approach. You know what I mean? Made it a little bit more adaptable, a little bit more organic, and not just been completely the game. You know what I mean? In terms of characterization, but you will like these characters, trust me, and you will love their performances even more, because they're doing a fine job. They're doing a fantastic job. If nothing else, Pedro and Bella Ramsey, they're carrying the show on its back. It's just the characterization, I feel like, is probably pulling some people out. So I just wanted to kind of put it out there. You know what I mean? You're not alone. But you will eventually get past it. And the show, I think, is probably going to be, in this second half of the season, is going to go for broke. And I'm excited like all hell for that. Because this second episode kind of proved to me that they have it. They know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, it may not be entirely what I want and what I like and what I expect, but they're going to do this adaptation correctly. And I think that is very good to feel. That I don't have to worry. I have a good show every Sunday, and I don't have to fucking, worry if it's going to be shit or not. I know it's going to be damn good. You know what I mean? Now, the Bill episode, from what I've heard, it's going to divide the fan base, which is scary. But hopefully it's just that it just affects that one episode and not the whole show. You know what I mean? Where that one episode kind of sort of like how Glenn dying in The Walking Dead, how it affected the whole show. I'm hoping it don't do that. You know what I mean? Where something happens in that Bill episode that kind of ruins the show. I hope it's not like that. But from what I've heard, that episode, there's going to be some people who love it. So, I mean, and I might be one of them. I'm going to be making a review for every single episode of this season. Besides, I might go back and do an episode 1 review. But I wanted to start here because I wanted to sit and kind of wait to see if there's something I needed to talk about. And I kind of had to with this one, because I kind of saw that little glimpse of this show's going to go for broke. And it's going to be something that a lot of people are going to love. And I had to kind of come on here and say, look, if you don't love it, you're going to. You know what I mean? It's not me coming on here saying, the show's shit. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to say, look, you got to let it rev up a little bit. It's like a V8, all right? You got to let this bitch fucking, you know what I mean? You got to let it go, you know what I mean? Before it gets going. And I just wanted to come on here and let people know, if you have doubts, rest assured, it's going to happen. I told my mom the same thing. You're going to end up falling for these characters in this story, and you're going to love it. Just give it time. Have faith. Just give it some time. But, yeah, like the tendrils, the shit coming out of the mouths, that was really awesome. The ending of this episode, ending it with, Tessa's death was fucking awesome, and Joel shooting one of the tendrils and kind of giving us a glimpse of what that's going to be like was really cool. You know what I mean? I really liked it. And I hope we see more, but this episode, it kind of dragged a little bit for me. I'm not going to lie. I wish they could have done a little bit more, advanced the story a little bit more. But at the same time, I'm just giving it time. Just like I've been telling you guys this whole episode, just give it time. This show's going to go for broke. It's going to be great. It's just give it time. You'll end up falling in love with it. Just like I'm probably going to end up falling back in love with it. You know what I mean? Like, this show, part 1 drops on PC, I think in March, Let me know down in the comments. Does Last of Us Part 1 drop in March on Steam? I can't remember. But I'm going to fall back in love with this show and this story. But, over time. Just like I did in the first one, which is great. That's exactly how it should be. For me. Because that's how it was in the first game. I slowly progressed into loving it. And I'm hoping it's like that for everybody. You know what I mean? I don't think this show... I think you shouldn't like these characters at first. You know what I mean? I feel like you should be kind of like, I don't want to be around these people. I think that's kind of the point. You know what I mean? You shouldn't really love them. Because they're bad people. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, with a show, you kind of have to love your main characters. You know what I mean? You got to be in their camp. So... anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. I give this episode, I would say a 4 out of 5, you know what I mean, or a 4.5. You know, I really liked it. You know, I just wish it gave me a little bit more. I wish the characterization would have been a little bit better. Just a little bit, you know, give me some more shades, you know. I want to see multiple shades to these characters, but dadgum, they're slow rolling with it. But we'll get there. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys like this review. I know I've been sitting here for a while talking, but... it's been a while since I made a video, and hopefully this is, you know, a video you can throw on in the background and just listen to. I love you guys to death. You guys are the reason why I do everything I do. You know, just keep watching the show. Have faith. It's going to get good. I promise. And it's probably already exceeded your expectations. You know what I mean? You're probably loving it already, and I'm the downer. I'm the downer note. I'm the down friend in your friend group. I'm down in it. But like I said, don't let me rain on your parade. If you like it, great. But I just wish it was done a little bit different so that I can love it instead of kind of getting drip fed reasons to love this show. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this review. I love you guys to death. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.